And we live in a market economy where, like it or not, governments really don't own much production of energy anymore, and particularly in New South Wales, it seems like it's going that way of privatisation, right? Now, the thing is that if we don't, so the point is that if we don't have a carbon price, it doesn't shift the economy towards low carbon innovation, because we're in a market economy, right? So if we have a deep enough carbon price, then we can go towards that low carbon innovation.
And Stern said climate change is the biggest market failure of history, and it's back. So he hands it, and the world has handed it to governments to respond. This government is doing something, but you're handing it back to the market. Why aren't you putting more than immediately $500 million into alternative energy?
Yes.
Laura Wright, I'm a Labor candidate for North Ward, and I'm just changing the focus slightly because I've been doing a lot of door knocking, and I can actually confer that a lot of people in this area are very passionate about this issue at all sorts of levels, and I'm particularly interested in the sorts of initiatives that local government can be doing in regard to climate change.
I think there's a lot more work that can be done. The most obvious ones up front, I think, is in the area of planning and development. This is particularly true, I have to say, for coastal communities, where we know from advice that was actually given to the former Prime Minister Howard, that around about 700,000 addresses are considered to be at risk from storm surge. I'm sure Ben can explain more eloquently than I that it's not just sea level rise you need to take account of, but the combination of that with increased storm activity. So clearly planning laws are the most obvious way in which I think local council would need to be involved. In addition, there's all the usual things that I know this council and others who are minded on, forward progressive thinkers, I hope, on these issues in terms of recycling and waste management and the community support for these issues. Finally, the gentleman down here who said, let us get out of the way, I think. I think what the government is actually saying is, yes, we all need to take responsibility. We need to take responsibility individually in our homes and in what we do, but we as the government also need to take responsibility for setting up a system that is over time going to transition. The government is going to transition the economy to a lower carbon future. That is not an easy task.